You're sad of the monster that you created? Go f*** yourself, James. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. And in this instance, James Carville is correct. You gotta understand, he's just trying to maintain relevance in this crazy world we live in. He's an old, stodgy, throwback Democrat, from Louisiana, just a piece of human trash. Just, look at him. Look at this guy. You want to set this guy next to, your mom, for Thanksgiving? Nah, I gotta steer clear. Even when James Carville says wokeness is a problem, and it is, he says Democrats won't admit to it because they'll be clobbered or canceled. Well, he doesn't care because he won't get clobbered or canceled. They may look down upon him, but this just goes to show you that every once in a while, these old stodgy Democrats come out and they try to, act with some semblance of common sense, but it just doesn't happen. Carville spoke to Vox's Sean Eiling about the state of the Democratic Party and President Potato's first 100 days, and he argued that the biggest problem his party had was with messaging and more specifically the language. He says, you never get the sense that people in faculty lounges in fancy colleges use different language than ordinary people, Carville said, adding that he liked the potato in part because he didn't adopt different language of sorts. Yes, he does. You're in the tank for the potato. Shut up, Carville. They come up with a word like Latinx that no one else uses. And in fact, I guarantee you that if you use the word Latinx in a country like Ecuador, they'd say, ¿qué? And you explain to them in Spanish, and you're like, no, I'm a Latino, she's a Latina. Or I'm an Ecuadoriano, and this Ecuadoriana. It doesn't work down there like that. We make up words, or I'd say we. I'm not making these words up, but these mental goddamn midgets in academia make these words up that don't mean anything to change the language, to change thought. And that's what they want. To change thinking, you have to change the language, how you express thoughts. Or they'll use communities of color. I don't know anyone who speaks like that. Neither do I. I don't know anyone who lives in a community of color. I don't either. I know lots of white and black people and brown people, and they all live in neighborhoods. He almost sounds like a Republican, doesn't he? Or a conservative or libertarian. But you got to understand that when these mental midgets come out and say something like this, it's always ended with, but, ... Carville went on to argue that he didn't mean that the party should stop addressing touchy issues like racial injustice, only that they should address such things using the same kind of language the voters used rather than jargon. Wokeness is a problem. Everyone knows it. It's hard to talk to anybody today. And I talk to lots of people in the Democratic Party. And you don't talk to anybody in the Republican Party or anybody right of Pol Pot, Lenin, and Stalin, do you, James? Who doesn't say this? But they don't want to say it out loud. They'll get clobbered or canceled. Carville concluded by saying that he disagreed with those in the party who said that messaging campaigns did not have to be ruthless. It really matters, he said. I always tell people that we've got to stop speaking Hebrew and start speaking Yiddish. We have to speak the way regular people speak, the way voters speak. It ain't complicated. That's how you connect with and persuade. And they're heavily on the side of persuasion. And we have to stop allowing ourselves to be defined from the outside. Well, James, you got to understand, James, that your party is the worst at it. You're saying this, but you don't really believe it. You always go, woke, this is a problem, but ... And then you end up with you end up erasing what you just said, which is correct. Wokeness is a problem. Canceling shit is a problem. But you always end it with, but we need to ... speak like the normal people speak. Yes, therein lies the rub. You're already too late. James, you allowed this to happen in your own political party. You allowed this to foster and foment all this division and bullcrap in your political party that just spewed out into the rest of the country. It's really honestly your fault, honestly. Your fault. You shouldn't have allowed this to happen. You should have spoke up earlier. But at that time, you had a lot of political persuasion. You had power. Now that you really don't have any power anymore, you're just a old stodgy Democrat, throwback from days gone that no one cares what you have to say. Every once in a while, they'll pull you out of the woodwork and sort of, ask you your opinion on something, and, you'll wipe the drool off your chin and, give some sort of bullcrap answer. But the fact remains is that you started this, and now you're sad of the monster that you created. Go fuck yourself, James. You started this, you created it, you fix it. Well, it's already actually too late. But again, fuck you, James, piece of shit.